that we started last week. It's really a continuation of the past few weeks, but if you were not here last week, pay attention now. We'll catch you up, okay? It says in the Gemara that if you, again, Shmuel holds, if you had kiddush and you didn't have seudah, you have to move to a new place. You want the link? Ma? You want the link? Okay. Oh, he needs it to translate to... Okay. Okay, Yair. Yair, Ezra, we're good over there. The other Ezra. Thank you, Mrs. Breck. Oh, we have a sponsor. Sponsored by Yariv Greenberg. Where is Yariv? In honor of my birthday. I mean, come on. Wow. God bless you. Amen. Thank you, Yariv. My English birthday was yesterday, and my Hebrew birthday is 5 Shabbat. Oh, tonight's Rosh Chodesh. So this is also Chodesh. So 5 Shabbat is my birthday. Okay. 5 Shabbat, and tonight is 1 Shabbat. Okay. So as we said last week, Shemuel holds if you did kiddush, but you didn't have a seudah after the kiddush, your kiddush is batel mivutal. It's nothing. You have to do kiddush all over again. No, that's croutons. If they were fried in oil in little pieces, they're mizonot. I don't know how she made them, but if they were not fried, they might. If they were baked, they might be hamut.
I think they were baked.
For kiddush. Okay, so kiddush. If you had kiddush and you just amen, or you drink, but you didn't drink a lot, just a little bit, and then you had shakol, chocolates, not cookies, chocolates, or namizonot, then your kiddush is no good. You have to do it again. Kiddush can come seudah. Is that what? What did you say?
I think they're baked.
They're baked? Okay, so they might be hamotzi. So good. So we have a mahloket. We're going to talk about it soon. Okay, now, Reb Chisda said, as I remember this last week, Reb Chisda said, the only time you have to make a new beracha when you move locations. Last week we said, if you're eating now pizza, and you want to go outside and finish the pizza next door, down the block, you want to finish the pizza at home, you have to make a new beracha, or you just, one beracha carries you the whole way through.
If you're at the beginning, think about it when you do that.
If you didn't, if you didn't have kavanah, no kavanah. I'm just eating and I pick up, I want to go. So when I go to home, so we said, so let's see. Yes. Yes, exactly. No, this is too much. In the same haydir. That's a lot. That's a humrah, but that's not halakha. So Reb Chisda said, if you pick up and mishaneh makom, you have to make a new beracha. It depends on what type of food you ate, right? If you said in the words of the Gemara said, and if you look in the pamphlet, it's page number 1. The Gemara said, Amar Reb Chisda, v'yatib Reb Chisda, it's the 4th line. And the Gemara, v'yatib Reb Chisda b'ka'amar mishemed denafsheh. He said on his own. No, I'm not there. Not the 4th line. It's actually the next Reb Chisda. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th, 11th line from the top. V'tu yatib Reb Chisda v'ka'amar mishemed denafsheh. Reb Chisda was sitting and he said in the name in his own name. Ha de'amar shinu makom tzarich lebarech. This that we said. That when you change your location, you need to make a new beracha. Lo amran ela bedevarim she'en te'onin beracha le'acharehen ben koman. It's a long sentence. What does this mean? The only food that you have to make a new beracha when you go home is a beracha that doesn't have to have a beracha harona in the place you ate it. If it's a food that you ate that requires you to bench in the place you ate, then you don't have to make a new beracha if you move to your house. If it's a food that you ate and you could bench wherever you want, you can make beracha harona. Let's just say, for example, chocolate. If you eat chocolate, you can say beracha harona wherever you want. You don't have to stay here and say the water. Let's say you drink water very fast, okay? Very fast. wherever you want. You don't have to do it here. Then you have to make a new beracha when you go home and you want to drink water, even if you start drinking here. But if you had hamotzi over here on the pizza, which by the way, guys, according to Sfaradim, pizza is hamotzi. Sorry to break the news to you. If you had, we'll see that for another night. It's going to open up a whole can of worms. That's what Moshe, the whole question. Even when Moshe, I heard retract. Okay, whatever. Let's not do that now.
I don't like an open faced sandwich.
Yeah, it is meat. It is bread. All right, let's push that up. If you had hamotzi and you want to go move now, hamotzi, you have to say bekat mazon in the place you had the hamotzi. So therefore, if you went home and you want to eat more hamotzi, you don't have to make a new beracha at home. Why? The words of the Gemara, because Rashi says, if you look at the Rashi on top, and tzarich lebarech, you don't have to make another beracha. No, b'devarim, the third Rashi, b'devarim she'en te'oni beracha harehem, only for things that you don't need to make a blessing in their place. Those are the things you do have to make a new blessing when you move. Why? Okay, go on. For example, mayim or perot, Rashi says. Water or fruit. Water or fruit are examples, Rashi says, of things. Their beracha, harona, the after blessing, doesn't matter where you say the after blessing. Good question. Good question. Good question. 1 second. Mayim or perot, water or fruit. They don't need a special beracha, water and fruit. Why? What does it mean they don't need a special beracha? Because there are special berachot called Birkat Hamazon, Al Mihya, and then there's Borei Nefashot Rabot. It's like the beracha for everything else. It's not special. And so that's called not special. So fruit and water is Borei Nefashot. They don't have a special blessing, so therefore you can make those beracha wherever you finish those foods. And therefore, those are the foods that if you pick up and you go and you want to have more fruit or more water at home, you need to make a new blessing. Why? Because the logic is, if you have to make the blessing where you ate, that meal is a part of your head. The meal is on you. You can't ever forget about the meal you just had. I have to make a beracha. What are you talking about? I have to make a beracha where I eat. So you kind of carry that with you. And when you go home, you're carrying with you the meal. If it's a meal that requires you to make a beracha where you ate, you get the logic, then the burden of that meal sits on your head and you can carry it with you home. If it's a food that you ate, that the beracha can be anywhere, then I drink water, leave me alone. I'm not tied to the water. I can make beracha a mile from here. You don't carry it with you. By the same token, when you go home and you want to have more water, you have to make a new beracha. Now, Rashi says, mayim or perot, water or fruit, are examples of things that you don't need a beracha in the place where you ate them. Well, what type of fruit, though? Not all fruit is borei nefashot. Some fruit is ala etz v'apri ha'etz. Where does that go? Does that go in the perot category where, you ate grapes, you eat olives, doesn't matter. Just say the beracha wherever, because there are 7 fruits of Israel. There are 7 foods of Israel, right? Eretz chita us'ora, gefen, te'ena, v'rimon, eretz zet shemen, udbash. That's what pasuk says. There are 7 foods of Israel. Eretz chita, wheat, se'ora, barley, gefen, grape, wine, te'ena, figs, rimon, pomegranate, eretz zet shemen, olives, udbash, honey. Honey's from dates, not bees. Those are the 7 foods from Israel. Those 7 foods have special beracha, not borei nefashot. The chita and seora, the wheat and the barley have al mihya, and the rest of them all have ala etz v'apri ha'etz. So look at amazing. Look at this Rashi. Rashi says, "Kegon mayim," the third Rashi on the top. Kegon mayim or perot, like water or fruit. She'en teroni beracha mehashuva lefnei atzman. They don't need a special blessing. Look in the parentheses. Kegon shiv'at haminim. In the parentheses, someone added that. Like the 7 minim need a special blessing. So it seems like we're not talking about the 7 minim. The 7 special fruits of Israel are not considered inferior. They're not considered mayim and perot. Which means if you had olives, Do you have to say the Birkat Ha'etz in the place you finish the olives? According to Rashi, yes. It's not considered in the Perot category. It's considered in the Hashub category. And by the same token, if you had olives and you want to go home and have more olives, do you have to make a new Birkat at home? According to Rashi, no. Because it's Hashub. So Rashi says, Devadai, for sure. Kivan de'amad de'halach le'makom acher. Since you got up and you went to a new place, Amidato, Zui Gemasi. When you stood up, you left. You're done. You stood up to leave. You finished your eating. And when you want to have more she'akol at home, it's a new meal. But about next Rashi, things that require beracha after blessing in the place where you ate them, like we know bread, you have to for sure. Which means an important blessing that they got. Like the 7 fruits of Israel, that's important. Since you didn't make a beracha when you finished eating them, you just left without making a beracha and you went to a new place. This odd. You went together with your meal. You took your meal with you.
You're gonna have to.
Right, and you don't have to make a beracha. Okay.
But also the same thing with anything that ala mechiyah, anything like that, the same thing.
Rashi doesn't say anything about al mihya.
Why? But
It's part of the 7 minim.
Right.
So you can say that. But Rashi's.
How is this connected to kiddush?
So the question is, once we were talking about kiddush, we was talking about Rabbi Yohanan, who said, if you change the place where you ate, even when you get home, you don't have to make a new gefen. Right? That's what brought us to this topic. Right, Yossi? You have to make a new gefen when you get home. So once we brought this topic in, we're talking about this, and we're going to bring it back to kiddush next week. We're going to bring it back to kiddush. But first we have to clarify what this halakha is. And so we took a little bit of a sidestep into the law of changing a meal. So Rashi holds, which foods are called important foods? And again, important foods have 2 halachot. A, you have to make a blessing where you ate. And B, if you left and you want to eat more, you don't have to make a new blessing. Rashi says it's hamotzi, and it's any of the 7 fruits of Israel. But if you had water or chocolate or anything she'akol, anything borei nefashot, or you have cucumbers or peppers, you don't have to make the beracha where you ate them. And if you go home, you have to make a new blessing, even if you just made a blessing 2 minutes ago in the shul on peppers.
Do you make the nefashot before you make the blessing?
That's a good question. You should. Yeah, we'll see.
Sure.
Yeah, we'll see. But if should you make the after blessing before you go home?
No, not before you go home. Let's say
you remember. Oh, so hold on one second. Oh, good question. So let's hold on one second with that. Okay, that's Rashi. Let's see the Rashbam. Rashbam is on the bottom. It's Rashi's grandson. Rashbam is also in the red square. What kind of foods does Rashbam put in the categories? Rashbam says, foods that do not require a blessing in the place you ate them, just like his grandpa said, like fruit or water. They don't need a blessing in the place you ate them. Huh?
What do you say?
Anywhere you want. Fruit or water. They only have borei nefashot rabot, which is not an important blessing. Borei nefashot rabot. You made a lot of things. You don't speak about the chocolate, a la chocolate, a la chocolate. You don't.
But you said about it's not important.
Yeah. It is important, but it's not as hashub. It's not as hashub because it doesn't deserve. This food doesn't deserve a beracha. When you have peppers, there's no ala peppers, the al priya peppers. It doesn't work. Why? It's not as important. But when you have gefen, ala gefen, it's important. They have a blessing for this. The rabbis made a special beracha for gefen. The rabbis made a special beracha for olives, ala etz, al priya etz. But for oranges, they didn't say ala etz, al priya etz. No, it's just the orange. It's not as hashuv, right? Since it's not as important, just make the beracha wherever you want. Exactly as Rashi says. Let's see the next one. But things that require a blessing in their place. Rashbam says, what are these foods? Anything that has a special blessing for this food, you need to make a blessing in its place. Again, just like Rashi says, all 7 fruits of Israel are considered important. Okay. The blessing ala etz, ba'prei etz, and ala mehiyah is called ahat me'en shalosh. That's what they call the blessing. Me'en shalosh means it's an abridged version of 3. Is everybody aware of this? Me'en shalosh is another name for al mehiyah. Because B'chad Mazon Me'deoraita is 3 berachot. Hazarat HaKol, Nodia Lecha, the 3rd one, and Lachem. Me'deoraita, and then they add the 4th one. So that's shalosh berachot. So Berecha Hana is Me'en shalosh. It's a concise version of all 3. Yeah. Okay. Now, this is the opinion of Rashi and the Rashbam. Now, wine. Wine is one of the 7 species. So, according to Rashi and Rashbam, wine would be something that you have to bless in its place, and if you moved, you don't have to make a new blessing at home. Tosafot. So far, so good. Everyone agree with this?
Yes.
Tosafot. Let's see the Tosafot.
But it's the time bound, no?
Time bound? Yeah, we're talking about it's before the time. Before the 72 minutes. Okay.
But is that special because it's not something that usually has an after blessing?
With wine is something that has an after blessing. Different. Let's see Tosafot. So if you look to the right side of the page, there's a big Tosafot. It starts with Ella b'dvarim she'en toni b'lecha le'acharhem mikoman. It's a very big Tosafot. So you see, I put a little red boxes, and let's go to those red boxes. Umiu kasher. He quoted Rashi and Rashbam that said wine and all 7 fruits are considered important. Says Tosafot. Umiu kasher. I have a problem with this question. I'm going to use my gemara because it's easier to read. Umiu kasher. Di have yain. If wine is considered a food, that you have to make a blessing where you drink the wine. And by the same token, if you go home and drink more wine, you don't have to make a new blessing on the wine. It's a great question from Tosafot. Why did we disprove Rabbi Yohanan? Remember, last week we said Rabbi Yohanan says, if you look, Rabbi Yohanan says on the top of the page, Echad shinui makom, ve'echad shinui yain, en tzarich lebarech. Rabbi Yohanan holds, if you had wine in the shul and you got home, you don't have to make a new beracha. Immediately the Gemara, what the Gemara says, as a reminder, we'll do it again real quick. Metiber, top of the Gemara, Metiber, question. Shinui makom tzarich lebarech. If you change your place, you have to make a beracha. What are you talking about, Rabbi Yohanan? You can't go home and drink wine without a beracha. Because of what? Yeah. I know, but he's talking about the beracha. Right, but hold on. The Gemara says, Shinui makom. He says, En tzarich lebarech. You don't have to make any beracha, Rabbi Yohanan says.
There's a kiddush there, no?
Huh?
There's a kiddush.
Kiddush and yain. Both yain and kiddush, Rabbi Yohanan held.
No, yeah, but my question is that this first place where you go, you said allocation, right? But after that, immediately you finish, you said allocation.
No. If you said ala gefen, betach you have to make a new beracha. Yeah, we're talking about you didn't say ala gefen.
You just said I mentioned.
It's pshita. It's pashu because if you said ala gefen, you're finished.
Exactly.
You have to.
Maybe this is what they mentioned.
No, he's talking about you didn't say ala gefen. For sure.
Yeah.
So, and what did the Gemara said? The Gemara said, Metibe, we have a question. It says straight out in the Beraita, Shinui makom sarich lebarech. If you change your place, you have to make a new blessing. What are you talking about, Rabbi Yohanan? And the Gemara says, Tiyufta, the Rabbi Yohanan Tiyufta. You're right. Rabbi Yohanan's wrong. You're right. He's wrong. Rabbi Yohanan is wrong. When you change your place, you have to make a blessing. Says Tosafot. Hold on a second. You just said wine is considered hashuv. And so wine is in the category that if you change places, you don't have to make a blessing.
Maybe it's not considered a food.
So why did you just say Rabbi Yohanan was wrong? Rabbi Yohanan was right. Rabbi Yohanan was right, says Tosafot. If you had wine for kiddush, go home, you don't have to make a new beracha on wine. We just said, Ashi, you just said, Zayin Minim. 7 species of Israel, all the 7 things, and wine is one of them. You don't make a new blessing when you get home.
But maybe it's not the 7.
So Shmuel.
Maybe grapes is different from
The grapes is wine. Grapes is wine. Ala gefen, Rabbi gefen.
It's changed to wine. Changes its form.
Could be an answer.
You don't
Tosafot,
get it on grapes.
obviously, it's a thought, but Tosafot says no. Tosafot says, what are you talking about? Why'd you say Rabbi Yochanan was wrong before? If Rashi is wrong, and wine is not in this category, the 7 fruits of Israel is not in this category. The only food that you have to say Bekat Hamazon in the place, let's just say, is bread, and not the fruits. Then, yeah, Rabbi Yochanan said before, if you make kiddush, you don't make a new blessing at home. He's wrong.
So how would he hold if you make kiddush, and then you go home, you're going to make another kiddush and say hagefen to someone else?
Okay, so again, that's when you do something for someone else. I can do kiddush right now, and then you come and you do kiddush. I'll do it again in 1
No,
second.
but I have to drink.
Any one of us
Say
has to.
hagefen.
Doesn't matter. The kiddush is the berachah for the kiddush. Kiddush.
Okay.
The kiddush is really the main berachah is the kiddush. B'kadesh Shabbat. So again, I want you to appreciate the question. Very simple. Rabbi Yochanan said, if you said kiddush in shul and you went home, you don't make a new blessing for more wine. The Gemara said, if your wife, you have to do it for her. We're talking about not like this. The Gemara asked the question and said, what are you talking about? You changed the place. Don't you know if you change the place, you have to make a new blessing? Immediately the Gemara says, you're right. Rabbi Yochanan is wrong. Rabbi Yochanan is wrong. The halakha is not like Rabbi Yochanan. If you change your place, you go home, you have to make a new gefen. Not for the wine, for you even. You have to make a new gefen. Immediately we said Rabbi Yochanan is wrong. Now you're telling me, Rashi, that wine is one of the 7 species, and that's a hashuv food, and therefore when you change places, you don't have to make a new blessing. So Rabbi Yochanan was right. This was the first question. Again, one more time. The Gemara said, Rabbi Yochanan said, if you had kiddush in shul and you go home, you want to have more wine, don't make a new blessing. Keep going. The Gemara says, what are you talking about? This is something called shinur makom. You have to make a new berachah. What are you talking about? The Gemara says, tiyufta. You're right. Rabbi Yochanan is right. Tiyufta. He's finished. Rabbi Yochanan is wrong. You have to make a new blessing. You have to. And then now 1 second later, Rashi tells me, the Gemara says, by the way, a food that's hashub, that's important, when you go home, don't make a new blessing. And Rashi says, yeah, you know, one of these foods are wine. So Rabbi Yochanan was right. You just told me he was wrong. Is he right or wrong? So who's this question on? This question is on the Gemara or on Rashi? This question's on Rashi. Because Rashi is the one who put his 2 cents and said, by the way, one of the foods is wine. Who said this? The Gemara never said that one of the foods is wine. If Rashi is wrong and one of the foods is not wine, then everything's good. So this is a proof Tosafot's bringing that wine is not one of these foods that require, if you have wine here, you can drink a gallon of wine, go home.
So he considered was right.
Who was right or wrong?
Right.
We have to see. Tosafot has a big question on him. That's question number 1. Question number 2. The Tosafot has 3 questions on Rashi. Question number 2. Od kasha, another question. The Amar Yerushalmi, it says in the Gemara Yerushalmi the following. If you have an orchard and you're in your fig orchard and you're eating as you're sampling as you walk. In the eastern orchard, you took a fig and you ate. You come to the western orchard, you want to eat another sample? Sarich lebarech. The Gemara says in Yerushalmi, you have to make a new blessing. You went very far away. Hold on a second. Figs are one of the 7 fruits of Israel. You just said, Rashi, all the 7 fruits, if I make one blessing and I move, I don't make a new blessing. The Gemara says you do make a new blessing. Rashi, are you sure that 7 fruits of Israel are considered hashuv? Question number 3. Od kasha. Remember the first week, guys, Rav and Shmuel. Rav holds, if you did kiddush in shul, Rav holds the kiddush is good, but the gefen you have to do again. When you go home, if you want to have bread, have bread. You don't need kiddush. Rav holds this. But if you want to have wine, you got to make a new berachah on the wine. Remember this? Shmuel holds the kiddush is no good and the wine is no good. You got to do everything all over again. If Rashi says wine is hashuv, and therefore when you go home, you don't have to make a new berachah on wine, Both Rav and Shemuel are wrong. Both Rav and Shemuel are wrong. It can't be. It cannot be. So therefore, says Tosafot,
One is making gefen and one is making kiddush.
but Shemuel holds the gefen and the kiddush are both invalid, and Rav holds the kiddush is valid, but the gefen is invalid. They both hold the gefen is invalid because you moved from the shul to home, and now all of a sudden. By the way, gefen is hashuv. If you go drink over here and you want to drink more, don't make a new blessing. You're against Rav. You're against Shemuel. The Gemara just said Rabbi Hanan was wrong, and now you're saying he's right. What are you saying here? Therefore, says Tosafot, "Yain v'chol zayin minin lo havu bechlal devarim hatironi v'dachal la'acharhem koman." You're wrong, Rashi. You're wrong, Rashbam. The 7 fruits are not in the category. You should never have included them in this category. Elapat, only bread, says Tosafot. Bread is the only thing. And then one more line, v'chol mine pat, and any type of bread. What's the type of bread? Mezonot. Shemarichim alav motzi, or shema kol mine mezonot. He said, maybe even mezonot. But that's it. Close it over there, says Tosafot. So Tosafot holds, if you want to know where we are, there's a red box in Tosafot that says lechach ned'eh.
He killed everybody.
Everyone. Lechach ned'eh, it seems to me you're all wrong. The yain v'chol zayin minin again. Yain v'chol zayin minin lo avu bechlal. They're not part of this category. Of things that have to be blessed in the place you ate them. Ela pat, only bread. V'chol mine pat, any bread-like food. Shebarechim alaf hamotzi la'yemik hamotzi. Or shema, maybe he says. Kol mine mezonot, maybe mezonot. Sheyesh behem mehem minim, from the 5 species of mezonot. Wheat, barley, oats, rye, and spelt. That's it. But wine? No. Dates? No. Grapes? No. Olives? No. Pomegranates? No, says Tosafot. You're wrong. We have mahloket, Rashi, Rashbam, and Tosafot.
By the way, this mahloket is happening over a big span of time.
Yeah. It's his grandkids. Rashbam was his grandkid.
We were mahloket.
Rashi and Rashbam agree.
But bottom line, we should.
What do we do? We have to see. We have to see what we do. What do we do? So the question is, so guys, again, however you define this category of hashuv food, there's 2 halachot. I can't say this strongly enough. There's 2 halachot that come from this. If you pick up a date, and this date is called hashuv, you have to bless where you ate the date. Remember, if you left, where we said last week, if you left on purpose, and you had dates, get yourself back to shul and make a blessing on those dates. So this is a very important halakha. Are dates, pomegranates, figs, grapes, wine, olives, are these part of foods that you got to drive back to shul to make a beracha on in the place? Rashi and Rashbam says yes. And by the same token, these different foods, if you ate them and you want to go to the neighbor's house and eat more of those things, don't make a new blessing. Because it's so hashuv. You ate such a hashuv food. That's what Rashi and Rashbam say. So Tosafot says, you're wrong. No one asked you to put the 7 fruits of Israel in here. Bread, mizonot. As we say, halas, it's over, says Tosafot. Bread and mizonot, you have to make the bracha here. I don't care how much grapes you had or olives you had. This, by the way, this just happened to me downstairs before the shiur. I was eating grapes in the hallway. And I went into the other room, like, uh-oh, I have to go back to the hallway to make a beracha? Well, according to Rashi, yes. According to Tosafot, no. Perot. According to Tosafot, there's no difference. Fruit and fruits of Israel. It's all the same. Wherever you want to make the blessing. Mahloket. I don't know what to do. So let's see.
You can do it.
What did I do? I went back. Let's see. Let's see. Turn the page. Let's get the halakha l'maaseh. So now this is the mahloket. Rif. Rif is Rabbi Yosef Al-Fasi. There are 3 major rishonim. There are 3 pillars of the halakha. I don't know if we've ever done this before, but it's important for everyone to know this. If you don't know this, you should know it. How did halakha come around? There are 3 amudei halakha, 3 pillars. Rif, Rosh, Rambam. Rishonim. Rif, Sfaradi, Al-Fasi. Rosh, Ashkenazi. Rabbeinu Asher, Rambam, Sfaradi. 2 out of 3 is Sfaradi. Usually, Maran Shulchan Aruch goes with majority. It's like a betin. 3 on betin, Majority, usually Rambam and whoever agrees with the Rambam, usually becomes Shulchan Aruch. So let's see what the Rif says. So I put over here, look over here, the guys. Rif, Rosh, Rambam, exactly. Bet Yosef is Shulchan Aruch. They'll talk about. Okay, Rif first. Rabbeinu Alfasi, look in the red. Vituyati Rav Hista was sitting, he said, but in his own name, this that we said, if you change your place, you have to make a blessing. Lo amran ela. We're only foods we're talking about. Ela. The only time you have to make a blessing when you move places is if it's a food you don't need to make a blessing where you ate it. Kegon, perot, like fruit, ve'yain, and wine. So Rosh says fruit and wine are hashuv. Are not hashuv. Sorry. Fruit and wine are not hashuv. But important foods, kegon pat umine dagan and sarich. So the Rosh holds like Tosafot. The Rosh says bread and mizonot have to be in its place. Wine and fruit, I don't care what type of fruit, wherever you want. So is it a surprise that the Rosh holds like Tosafot? No, because the Rosh is Ashkenaz, Tosafot is Ashkenaz. A lot of times you'll see them together. Sorry, this is the Rif. The Rif is a surprise. The Rif said this. So the Rif says, Rabbeinu Alfasi says, only bread and mizonot are hashuv. Okay? Next, Rosh. Look in the red box. Rabbeinu Asher. Bedavka bebirkat hamazon. We're only talking about birkat hamazon, says Rabbeinu Asher. What's up?
Great Honda behind.
It's Yariv. Says Rabbeinu Asher, Vedafka bebirkat hamazon. Yuval, you can't take the donor, the guy who sponsored the shiur. He can't. Okay, let's see what the Rosh holds, guys. Again, the Rif holds like Tosafot. The Rosh holds like who? Vedafka bebirkat hamazon. Only birkat hamazon. About Zayin Haminim, when it comes to the 7 fruits of Israel, and says the Rosh, no, that's not counted in the important category. Wherever you remember, do the blessing. Okay, so we have so far 2 in a row. The Rif and the Rosh both hold like Tosafot. Don't bother me with the 7 fruits of Israel. Let's see what the Rambam says. Mishnah Torah, kol hamebarech birkat hamazon o beracha achat me'en shalosh. Whoa, you see this, guys? Again, kol hamebarech birkat hamazon. If you make birkat hamazon o beracha achat me'en shalosh, or al michya, or al ha'etz, or al hayayin, al gefen, tzarich lebarech otah b'mkom she'achal. What? Rambam. We lost the Rambam. Rambam holds like Rashi and Rashbam. Rambam does not hold like Tosafot. If you're walking, wherever you finish eating, just stop. Okay. So Rambam says, like Rashi and Rashbam. So to summarize, the 3 pillars of halakha, the Rif and the Rosh hold like Tosafot. The only food that's important is bread and mizonot.
By the way, if I eat here and I want to bench by you,
what's the food?
No,
bread. On purpose, you can't do it.
No, but let's say I moved and I'm having the.
If you could eat more, then it's okay.
But that's where it comes from.
This is where it comes from.
Where you
have to bench where you. Yes.
But this is not considered like you're there.
This is the same place. Yeah, we're talking about you've moved a different bite right now.
The idea of people saying, "No, I moved my seat because that's where I ate."
Right. So he does this. He does this to my kids sometimes. They'll say, "Hey, get back to your seat." To Birkat hamazon, I said, "Leave him alone. He's on the same table." We'll get to this in a second. Huh? Yeah. It's the same table. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. We go Hakam. It's the same Seudati. One second. It's also very similar. Hakam, Rab Zalman is very strict. Acham Vadia is very easy. And
But you said
Yeah.
you can do another
Yeah.
room
Well,
because you are
one second. Also, just not to get a whole side tangent, but Acham Vadia holds that there's really no Ruach Ra'ah these days. That's another thing. Ruach Ra'ah these days is very kacha. And if you go to bed after Hatzot, there's even less Ruach Ra'ah. So it's well, for another time. Ezra.
What about if you're working and you have a sandwich?
Good question. We'll do this halakha in a second.
Okay.
Okay, Yossi, you got it? If you're in the same table, what's your question?
The reef.
The reef and the rosh hold
All the same.
what? Only bread and mizonot.
Right.
And the Rambam has to argue on that. The Rambam says no.
So you completely.
So what do we do?
Opposite.
And we lost the Rambam. He loves to go by the Rambam.
So
Shulchan
if that's the case, so the two of them.
So is Shulchan Aruch going to take the other two and leave Rambam behind? That's the question. If Rambam and one of those rabbis, he would have for sure, you know the answer.
Yes.
But the question is Shulchan Aruch, does he have the guts to go against Rambam and hold the Rosh and the Leaf? Okay? Let's see. The Kesef Mishneh, which is written by the Kesef Mishneh, which is written by the Bet Yosef. Kesef Mishneh is Maran Bet Yosef on the Rambam. Let's see what he says. Vidat Rabbeinu, the opinion of our master, the Rambam, Kedat Rashbam. He also like the Rashbam. Be'adei Pesachim, in our Gemara. That anything that's the Al Mihya, it's all these things, Ala Ya, Ala Gefen, you need to have it in its place. But look at Tosafot, says the Bet Yosef. Look at Tosafot. Ra'ayot Tadvarav. He has a lot of proofs against the Rashbam. About Harif, Katav, Tedaf Kamini Dagam. But the Rif holds, no, only bread and mizanot. And so says the Rosh. So you see, literally what I showed you. Why do I line it up this way? I want you to, for me also, all of us to learn how to think like the Bet Yosef thought. He says, no, what do you mean? Rambam, you hold like the Rashbam. But come on, Tosafot, and plus the Rif and the Rosh, they hold like Tosafot. So what did Maran Shulchan Aruch decide to do when he wrote his Shulchan Aruch? That was his time to be a posek, we have to see. But first he has the Bet Yosef. So again, we do this all the time, but the Maran Shulchan Aruch of Yosef Cairo, first he wrote Kesef Mishneh on the Rambam. He wrote the Bet Yosef on the Tur, commentaries, and then he said, time for my own book, Shulchan Aruch. We just read the Kesef Mishneh on the Rambam. Let's read the Bet Yosef on the Tur, and then we'll do Shulchan Aruch, okay?
Finished it.
I thought we finished Kapahayim. Okay, let's see the Bet Yosef. The Chatav Harosh in the red where I circled. The Chatav Harosh, page 39. The Chatav Harosh, the Rosh writes, this that we say you have to go back to the place. Only for bread. But on the fruits of Israel, nah, just bless wherever you want to. When he says Birkat Hamazon, the Birkat Hamazon Tanakat Lav Dafka, he doesn't mean only bread. All grains. Like bread, cookies, wheat, that's what he means. Because all the grain, all the wheat products and the barley products, they feed you, they're filling. But it's called Birkat Hamazon. That's already a kiddush. I call it Birkat Hamazon. So the Rosh says Birkat Hamazon and mizonot. But you don't make Birkat Hamazon a cookie, you make one blessing, still, it's considered the same thing, okay? Well, I skipped the line, Hayim. Well, according to this, this that we said, the 7 fruits, wherever you want, you can bless. Lav kol zayin meaning kamad. He's not talking about all 7 of Israel, because don't forget, 2 of the 7 are wheat and barley. So when he says the 7 things of Israel, wherever you want, he means 5 of them. So Bet Yosef is making sure you understand this. Who's mechitaos orah? Besides for wheat and barley. Wheat and barley are on the bread side of it. So 5, when we say 7, he's letting you know. When we say 7, we mean 5. I saw the Rashba writes, שכתב בסוף פרק אלו דברים, שכל שאינו טעון אלא ברכה אחת, ולבסוף אין טעון ברכה לאחר מקומו. The Rashba agrees with Tosafot. Not only that, the Rashba goes beyond Tosafot. The Rashba says only Birkat Hamazon. Mizonot, cookies, pasta, I don't care. Wherever you want. The Rashba goes very far. Now, in my humble opinion, the Rashba makes the most sense in the words of the Gemara. What is the word of the Gemara? The Gemara doesn't discuss food types. The Gemara says, Haim, right? Hashubah. What is called an important blessing?
Important food.
The Rashba says, Birkat Hamazon is important. Finished. Nothing else is important. That's it. Nothing else. So the Rashba does make sense with the words of the Gemara.
Before Rashi, were there any other commentaries on that?
Rashi's the first one.
Rashi's the first.
Yeah.
He has the first.
Rashi's first. That's Rashi's first. His grandson, the Rashbam, and then you have like the Mordechai, you have the Rashba, the Ritva, the Meiri, you have Pirushim like this. Ramban, Nachmanides is early. Ukelos not in the Gemara. No.
Yeah, so there's like no source to.
So right,
Yeah.
that's it. Uchban nitba'ed b'siman kuf ayin het. We already explained the siman 178. Sheyesh omrim dekol zayin eminim tonim elchala harehem. That some say all 7 fruits require a blessing after them. Who says this? The Rambam says this, and the Rashbam says this. Ulfi datam, according to this, al zayin eminim tzarich lahazor. And then according to the Rashbam and the Rashi and the Rambam, all the 7 fruits you have to go back. What does he do, Shuharuch, when he makes his own book? It's time for him to be the posek. What does he do? Like Rambam or like the Rif and the Rosh? So let's see. First, Shuharuch 184, Kuf Ped Dalet. He writes as follows. Yesh Omrim, some people say, Shekol Shiv'at Haminim Teunim Berachah La'achareim Koman. All 7 require in its place. Ve'yesh Omrim, and some say, the Hamesh Min Dagan Dafka. Only the 5. And we know the halakha is Yesh ve'yesh halakha ke ve'yesh. Anytime Marash Shulchan says yesh omrim ve'yesh omrim, it's always ve'yesh is the halakha. So he writes the yesh omrim to let you know it's Rambam. You have to put it in there. But then he says, ve'yesh omrim, only the grains. So that's halakha is not like the Rambam. He's going with the majority. He's going with the Rosh and the Rif. Not Maimonides. He's not holding like Maimonides. Maimonides holds olives, you have to make a beracha here. If you went home, you have to come back. Shulchan Aruch is saying, Yesh Omri v'Yesh Omri. Look at the other Shulchan Aruch, 178, it's on the bottom of page 39. Again, he does this. Yesh Omrim, Sheshiv'at Haminim Teonim Beracha La'achareim Koman. Some people say all 7 fruits is twice in Shulchan Aruch. He does this. All 7 fruits, you have to go back. Yesh Omrim Dafka Mini Dagan. And some people say, only mizonot. Now comes the Ramah, Ramoshe Ishlas, and he adds Haga. V'yesh omrim dafka pat. Why does he do this? For who? The Rashba. The Ramah adds in only bread for some people because the Rashba goes the furthest. Yes. So therefore, it seems like Shulchan Aruch would hold not like the Rambam. But if he holds not like the Rambam, why does he even bother with yesh omrim? Just say the halakha. When he does this, it shows that he's leaning. He's leaning a little bit like the Rambam. A little bit. But he has to go halakha l'ma'aseh. Kafa Haim, next page. Kafa Haim. V'yesh omrim dafka, v'yesh omrim pat dafka. Some people say only bread. Who's this, says the Kafa Haim? We know this. Bet Yosef brings this b'shem harashba. It's the Rashba that says only bread, you have to go back. V'yavi omonam le'il, omam. I skipped a couple of words in the Kafa Haim. Omnam. Da'at Maran, what is the opinion of Shulchan Aruch? L'fsok kede'ah shniya, like the second opinion, which is that ve'yesh omrim da'al het mined dagan dafka. Only have to go back for bread and mizonot. V'chem pazak hagra, and so says the Gaon Mevilna, Gaon of Eliyahu, the Gra, the Gaon Mevilna agrees. Umiyu says the bottom on the Kafa Haim. Umiyu, however, look at tehillah, preferably yesh le'achmid, you should be strict. For all the 7 minim, all the fruits, because Rambam, Rashi, Rashbam. And so if you could be strict to do it, it's good too. Next, Kafa Haim. It's in 2 places. Says the Kafa Haim again. Preferably, it should be strict for the fruit even. Only the fruits of Israel. Also, when you switch places, when you switch places, if you're having olives, there's an interesting kiddush with the Kafa Haim. If you're having olives and you go home, should you make a new beracha? According to halakha. If you're having olives, from what we know now, from after the hour doing this, If I had olives and I want to go home and have more olives, do I make a new beracha? According to Rashi, no, it's hashuv. According to Rashbam, no. According to Tosafot, yes. According to the Rif, no. According to the Rosh, no. According to the Rambam, yes. According to the Mashal Haruch, it should be yes, because he holds the fruits are not important. But then you're going to run into Safek Berachot La'akel. We're not strict when it comes to making extra blessings. So says the Kaf HaHaim, in the second line on the second Kaf HaHaim, when you come to switch a place, don't make a new blessing. The Safek Berachot La'akel. So we're going to have to go both ways. When it comes to moving places, let's go by the Rambam. According to the Rambam, you don't have to make a new blessing at home, so don't make a new blessing at home. When it comes to a new beracha, we don't want to be strict. Understand how that works?
We want to be strict.
We don't want to record. We're going to consider it important if it's going to save you from an extra blessing. You have to go both ways with this. Okay? Everybody get that what we're saying? Yeah? Mishnah Birura, let's skip to the next one. Mishnah Birura. Katbu Aharonim, the Aharonim write, the preferably, Yahmi lebarech mikoman. Afil b'zayim minim. You really should make a beracha in the place you have the olives or the pomegranate. V'chen, li'inyan shinui makom, just like the Kaf HaHaim says, if you're going to switch places after eating the 7 foods of Israel, don't make a new blessing when you get home. Kemu alapat. Why? Because Rambam holds it's hashuv. The Fimash Pasak. And the Gra holds like this as well. Let's see halakha l'ma'aseh from Hacham Ovadia Yosef, Cham Yitzchak Yosef. Mi she'achal pat haba'a bekisnin. If someone ate mizonot, ha'asuya mechameshet minei dagam, which is from wheat or barley or spelt or rye or oats, mizonot. V'chen perot l'shiv'at haminim, or the 7 fruits. L'katehila, really preferably, tzarich lebarech b'decha ha'olam b'mkom she'achal. You should make the blessing where you ate, because Rambam. However, if you didn't and you left, then make it wherever you go home, even on purpose. Even on purpose. Only bread you have to go back. On purpose, we're going to hold no. But hold on 1 second. However, if you left on purpose, Tov Shia, you hate this, Dad. Tov Shia Hazor, it's good that you should go back to do it in its right place. Unless you're afraid by the time you get back, it's going to be past 72 minutes or whatever, and you're going to miss the Zman. But it's really good to go back. Why does he do this? Because Rabbeinu HaRambam says the fruits are important. And so even though halakha, we're going to hold not like Rambam, we're going to make it very hard. You really should hold like the Rambam, if you could. Okay?
What would it mean? You leave a place and you remember it, or you leave on place on purpose and you remember it.
If you left on purpose, if it's on bread, you're knas. You have to come, it's a fine, you have to come back. If you left on purpose and it's not bread, you don't have the knas. But according to Rambam, that's hashuv food.
What does it mean? Leave, whenever you leave,
Which means if you knew you were supposed to bless and you said, no, I'm making blessing at home.
oh, if you're intentionally
No, but you knew.
without making the
Yes, that's what I mean.
This is after you made the blessing, but
No.
no.
what do you mean?
Leaving on purpose
If
means
you made the blessing al ha'etz, but you had in mind before you made ha'etz on it, that you're
no.
going to go somewhere, then you don't have a problem.
Allah, it's the after blessing. You're saying you
Not
made a
al
pre.
ha'etz.
We're not talking about, wait, guys, we are not talking about if you had in mind to move places from the beginning. It's not, any of this is not talking about any of that.
Yeah, this is the baseball game.
This is the baseball game question.
Yeah.
You did not have in mind to move places. You ate and you're like, you know what? Let me go over to my friend. Let me go to the house. Let me go to the shed.
But
Let
I
me go
forgot,
cut the
so
lawn.
it's okay.
If you left on purpose and you knew you should have benched and you didn't, if it's bread, you have to go back.
Okay, I'm
If
not
it's
talking
not
about
bread,
bread.
you don't have to go back, but it's good to go back because Rambam says you should.
What
If
if
you-
you're going to a place where you're going to eat bread?
Huh?
What if you're going to a place where
If you're going to continue to eat bread, that's not part of this halakha. We're only talking about a place where you just left. You walked away. Let's finish the halakha. The next page. Ochlim umashkim. Food and drinks. Shebirchatam ha'harona hi borei nefashot rabot. which are borei nefashot, in other words, not hashuv. Lechu le'ama, according to everyone. En tzarich lebarech becha harona, b'mkom ha'achila o shtiyah. You don't have to bench where you ate it. Why does it say according to everyone? According to everyone, literally, according to Rashi, Rashbam, Tosafot, if you had chocolate or anything shehakol that's borei nefashot at the end, do whatever you want, right? V'lachen, therefore, im abal v'akad b'mekomo kodem sheb'yedech becha harona. If you're eating here borei nefashot foods, and you just go, and tzarich lahazor, don't come back. Just bless wherever you remember. If you're eating a shehakol food, let's say chocolates or Twizzlers, licorice, you decide to go from the living room to the kitchen, or from the kitchen to the bedroom in the same house. You never planned on doing this. It was not part of your plan. Just on the spot, I want to move. They're watching a movie or the game inside. I want to go take my popcorn inside to watch the game with them. You can't even see the room that you're going to from here. It's too far away, but it's in the same house. Don't make a new beracha when you go to the living room to eat more popcorn. Because it's not moving a house. You just move the rooms within the house. Anything shakol. Anything borei nefashot. The apa pishesh cholkim medabar. It's for sure bread. It's like he's taking the for sure. Even though people disagree, which is really Marash Haruch, we'll do hopefully next week. We have a rule. We don't make extra blessings. Ulam. However, this is a crazy halacha. You ready for this, Ezra? You're in the middle of eating popcorn, and you went to the bet hakiseh, and you went to the bathroom. So again, if you're eating popcorn or licorice, and you go to the living room, you go to the laundry room, you go to the garage, whatever, you're good. You go to the bathroom. You can't eat in the bathroom. Since you went to a place that's not a place for food, that's called breaking your concentration on eating. Even if you go back to the kitchen to eat the popcorn, because you went to the bathroom in the beginning, we're talking about shehakol, guys. Very clear. You have to make a new blessing on the popcorn. Because the bathroom interrupted, you know what's the same halacha? Tefillin.
Right.
You have to new blessing. You went into a place where you can't wear tefillin in the bathroom. You have to make a new blessing when you come out.
Talit also?
No, because talit can go in the bathroom from the halacha. Talit really can go in the bathroom. We don't do it. But really, talit can go in the bathroom. Yeah, really, meikal adin, talit can go in the bathroom. It used to be all day long the word talit. Talit can go in the bathroom. The strings is good practically to tuck them in the pants. The strings. No, even talit gadol. The strings, we don't do it. Nobody does it now. I'm saying halakha. I'm how to say the law. The strings, I've done it a few times. I've tucked the strings of my talit in my pants, and I went to the bathroom. If I need to, I'm in a rush or whatever, or I'm in a public place, someone's gonna steal my talit. I don't know. If you need to, you have to know the halakha. Tefillin, you can't go in the bathroom. So it's called breaking your da'at, and you have to do a new beracha when you get out. Unbelievable. So even popcorn, you went to the bathroom, make a new beracha when you come back.
There's only shakol.
Only borei nefashot foods. Yeah, unbelievable. However, but if it's a meal with bread, or mizonot foods, no. If it's a beracha, if it's a food that requires beracha in its place, look, he uses the exact words of our gemara.
Which you have to do.
I love. Hold on. Well, 1 second. Not 1 second. 1 week. I love when Acham Vadia uses the words of the Gemara, because if you didn't learn the Gemara, you have no idea. It's straight out of the Gemara. We are in number 8, 2 lines from the bottom of number 8. Since these are foods that require a blessing in its place, don't make a new blessing when you come out of the bathroom. Even for the 7 fruits, Naktinan safek v'chol la'akel. Don't make a new blessing. Why? Because Rambam says the 7 fruits are important. So we'll go like the Rambam with this. Okay? Again, you're eating, you go to the bathroom. What were you eating? What were you eating? Shiak. But in a fashot, you have to make a new blessing. Anything else, don't make a new blessing. Unbelievable halakha. Okay? Let's do a couple more and then we'll call it a night. Tet, number 9. Halakha perot, if you're eating fruit, you move to another room. But I want to come back to the kitchen. I'm just going to watch the game. I'm coming right back to the kitchen. I think there's a Haim was asking me before, or someone. Really, make the beracha harona now. Before you leave the room, just say the after blessing. Finish.
Doesn't work if somebody else is in the room?
We're going to talk about this in the gemara next week, mamash. Finish what you did. Make the beracha harona and start fresh. Shema yishkach milberach, because you probably going to get caught up in the game and you're going to forget to make the beracha in total. B'di'avad, if you already went into the next room because everyone's saying, oh, look at the Super Bowl, whatever, you go run into this and you didn't make a beracha harona. You change. I want to keep on eating my licorice or my popcorn. Don't make a new beracha. Rak im yatzah chutz labayit, you leave your door. Hozer u'mebarech. You got to make a new beracha. You know what? This happens to me all the time.
The backyard is
Amazon deliveries. All the time. Amazon deliveries. They got like 15 a day. You leave outside your front door. You broke what you were doing.
Even though there's a gate around your house.
Well, we're talking about B'nai Nefashot now. Oh, we got Amazon. Okay.
That's even if you have a gate around your house, you're telling me.
If you leave outside your door.
But what about if you leave the door open?
No.
It's a good question. Every time I'm like, okay, I'm sticking my head out the door. Like, it's a good question. I want to open this up later, but we'll kill the whole time.
But if you haven't, I'm drinking now soda.
No,
And I'm watching.
One second. We are not talking about when you're like eating and drinking on the go.
No. I'm drinking soda. I'm watching the Super Bowl.
We're watching the Super Bowl. Let's not do soda because it's a big question about drinks. Let's do popcorn. Because Faradim, you're not going to make beracha on soda.
Right.
Okay?
Or water.
Well, unless you drink it really fast. Well, let's do popcorn. Popcorn and the Super Bowl. Yeah.
So I'm eating.
Potato sticks. Yeah.
I'm eating
That's what he
potatoes.
likes. Yeah.
Okay. I go to the bathroom. I come back. I have to say
Yes.
again.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Shuffle.
Yeah. Whatever it is. We don't know
Okay.
either. Yeah.
And if I go outside my door,
You got to make a new one.
new one.
Yeah.
How about my backyard?
Yes. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
It's outside the door. If it's outside the house, you lost. It's like erasure.
So how about on Sukkot? We're in there, and then we come back.
Sukkah is a good question. So the Ramah talks about this.
Okay.
Sukkah is a good question.
Wait, so let's
Because-
say you know you
But hold on.
It's all the same.
It's not the same because Sukkah, you have a knowledge. I need to eat in the Sukkah. So it's a plan. We're not talking about plans. I've said this how many times? Guys, we are not talking about plans.
No plan.
Where I'm planning to go there. We're talking about on the spot. Oop, I got a delivery.
All of a sudden it rained, then I have to go back to
So
my house.
Sukkah, you planning on going in there. That's a different story.
Okay, so let's say you know you need to go to the bathroom. Do you say we're gonna start before you go and then come back?
The problem is you can't make a blessing if you have to use the bathroom. I thought about that also.
What if you go outside?
What if you hold it 70?
That's a whole other question. I was afraid of this.
What if you go outside?
Every question opens up a whole other question.
No, I'm saying-
One second, Deka.
Yeah, that's what it said.
What about it? Good, 1 second. Huh?
You say-
Better if you don't step all the way out to your back.
Yeah.
You have one foot inside.
So I think about this on a daily basis.
What's the answer?
I don't know yet.
No, no.
What's the difference? I'm gonna make a little bit of highway.
Yeah.
You're eating popcorn
Maybe I
at the
lose
door.
it, but
That's what I'm saying.
Amazon knocks on the door.
Yeah, all right.
The package is like 5 feet away from the door. But assuming that you still have popcorn in your cheek, you start chewing, that should be okay.
in the bathroom? Is that
No,
a
no,
trick?
no.
The problem is,
Right.
I'll tell you that
Right, but-
it's actually a great question. You didn't have knowledge in the beginning. That's the problem. Because we're going to see, if you're chewing gum, you have to make a beracha every step,
Make a bit of thumbs up.
right? If you're
Make a
chewing,
bit of thumbs up.
you're chewing gum.
Make a bit of
Yes, I make a beracha on gum.
Oh,
But
the
flavored-
flavor. Okay.
I don't know people who.
What other kind of gum?
Yeah, why would you?
Like what other kind of mesonoia?
He enjoys unflavored gum. It's plastic, basically. If you're chewing gum, do you make a beracha every step? No.
Point unflavored sound.
If you
It's something that you're on the move.
hold on, we're gonna talk about it right now. If you have in your bed, in your pocket, fisto,
Yeah.
pistachios, or visit, you have pumpkin seeds
Yeah.
in your pocket, and you keep walking and eating. You make a new bracha every one.
No.
We're gonna have no. Because you're having knowledge. We're gonna see right now. We're talking about.
But
on
if
the
you
spot.
started in the house,
But you didn't plan on leaving. That's the problem. It all goes by your knowledge. When you sat down on the couch, you didn't plan on getting up. I'm sitting on this couch. Nothing's moving me.
so here's this question. It's going to go out for the package. Does it say Baruch Shar- or something?
You can't.
Does it say before go pick up the package?
I don't
And then come back and say another beracha?
I don't know.
Or just go out and say another beracha?
I don't know.
What if you're holding
I don't know. No, if you're holding them afterwards, it's too late. Because well, let's see. I don't know. I don't want to say something wrong.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
the problem
good
with movie theaters. You know, you bring in the.
It's so,
I don't want to.
it's so important.
But hold on, guys.
Moving things, you know.
So the bottom line.
1 second. I'm
It's
sorry.
so
Hold on.
It's so important.
You have to know what you're doing.
Right, that's exactly right.
If you, when you made the blessing, if
Before
you
you made the
know
blessing.
you're going to be around,
Before the blessing.
you have that in mind, or you have a stamda. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm being
Yeah,
very.
So
like,
all that-
the thing that I'm having difficult time, for an example, like you're eating olives, right? And you're just chewing olives, and you're sitting down watching TV, right? And then you get up, go get water, and you're still doing the chewing process.
Yeah, but you're in the same house. You're in the same house. Room to room is okay.
All right, so what
But
about
because you're
moving
doing
car?
the process, right? If you step
That's a
outside, you're still
travel.
doing the same
Room to room,
process.
but you're in the same house. It's okay. Room to
But
room
is
in the
the
same
car
house.
is the look, is it, that you
He said you can leave. You can go all the way around the house.
Oh, well,
I can go back to where you were.
Am I answering your question?
Yeah.
In the car, it's one place. It's a good question.
Is it one place, even though? it's
There's a
moving?
massive machoket about this. I really don't want to get. Every one of these things is a landmine that you can just like.
Forget it.
But I'll just mention a tiny bit and then we'll move on. There's a big mahaloket. You know how they say if you have to travel for water to wash, if the water's let's say 72 minutes away, let's just say you have to travel for that. Well, does that go by foot? Because I'm in a car. I'm in a plane going. Like, how did you count it? And so it's a big mahaloket. The general idea is it goes by what you're in, and by the same token, your plane is your constantly moving room. You're in one place. Let's move on.
So basically.
No, we're not
rules
moving
of-
on.
The rules of physics apply to this.
Yes, when you're in
You
one.
throw a ball up and when it comes back, you catch it, you didn't move it.
The rules, yes, very well said. The rules of physics apply.
1 second. So I drink in my car
Right?
and I go to store to store.
No.
I have to make another beracha.
Yes, you do.
Wait, wow.
He's drinking in his car and he wants to go in the store.
And then
No.
I came back. I'm drinking
No, you left.
Another bracha?
Yes.
Really? No, but what about homes in like Central
Check on that,
America,
check on that.
right? Where the kitchen
I
and
remember
the
learning.
tables are outside, right? And with the hammocks and everything.
They're not.
Okay.
But I thought they-
If it's your house, that means you know it and you know what you're gonna do, then you have knowledge. If you didn't plan on taking your soda all over the place, by the way, even if you did plan, it's very possible, even if you did plan to walk around, once you put it down, a lot of people hold, once you put the soda down, you forgot about it. If you kept it, who said if you're holding it in your hand? One of you guys
I
said.
don't know.
That's a big thing. If you're holding it in your hand, you still have dot. But I really don't want to get into that right now. I want to finish this. Okay, let's see. Where are we? We're on Yud. I want to finish this halachot. Haya yoshev ve'ochel uga. You're sitting and eating cake. Or perot shiv'at minim. Or olives. ובאמצע אכילתו יצא חוץ לביתו. Oh, Amazon delivery. You go outside the house. ושוב חזר למקומו הראשון ונוסע להמשיך באכילתו. And you want to go back and eat. אין צריך לחזור לברך. Don't make a new blessing. Why?
You heard that, Joe?
Because it's not for the nefashot.
You heard that?
Yeah,
Because it's not for the nefashot. Because it's special according to
to
Rambam.
wait, same thing for bread though, right?
Bread for sure. Everyone holds it special. However, what if I came back and I made ha'etz again? Not like the Rambam, which is like the Rif and the Rosh. You have a lot to rely upon. If you did it, that's okay. Because that's really the halakha. Understand? Unbelievable. Even Maran Shulchan Aruch is very strict. I didn't put Maran Shulchan Aruch here because I knew it would open up a whole can of worms. Maran Shulchan Aruch holds even bread. You go outside for the Amazon delivery, you come back and make a new blessing. Maran Shulchan Aruch is very strict on this. Maybe we'll continue this later because I really want to finish. Yud Aleph. You're eating from fruit that's not from the special fruit. You're eating oranges, cucumbers.
This is still kapachet?
This is all Hakam, yeah. Hakam Yitzhak. ויצא חוץ לביתו, you go out for the Amazon delivery. וחזר למקומו הראשון, go back. רוצה להמשיך את קלקתו, you want to continue eating your cucumbers, צריך לברך, you have to make a new blessing. וכן הדין, also for drinks, you have to make a new blessing. Yeah, you left the house. Next one. Don't leave your house. I'm telling you, I think about it on a daily basis. When the Amazon guy comes, I like stick my hand out. What are we talking about? This is what we're reading for this one. When you sat down to eat in one place, like you sat on the couch to watch the game. If you didn't sit down to eat, you're eating, walking around. You're walking around eating popcorn, nuts. You're just walking around munching, pat or got or perot, whatever it is. You can do this. Also, if you're walking around with a can of Coke, well, you asked. If you're walking around, you're walking around. But if you're in your car, that's not called walking around. You're sat down in your car to drink.
No.
If you're in your car, no,
traveling.
That's a different question.
Traveling. It's traveling.
You're saying you're going somewhere, walking around.
Airplane, no problem. Train, no
I'm
problem.
driving somewhere. I'm drinking my soda while I'm driving. And then now I'm going into my.
It's a vice versa problem. Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be there 10 minutes and I'm
Okay,
No, he said.
let's see, guys.
Okay, the plane.
the same thing.
No, he's saying.
A boat that what? A cargo ship, yeah.
What do you say? What?
He said it's fine because you knew.
But it's one boat. It's one boat. Hey, Bob, we're almost done, guys. I don't know how to pronounce this. Yaniv, how do you pronounce this? Hamifatzeach Garinim. Hamifatzeach Garinim. How do you, crack? What is it? Yeah, Mifatzeach is crack?
Yeah.
You're cracking nuts? Is that what it means?
Like water.
Mifatzeach Garinim. So you start your nuts in your house, your seeds in your house. Then I go outside. I'm still eating in my. Yeah, every Israeli. You know that wherever you walk, there's going to be a trail of seashells following everywhere you go. And don't make a new beracha. You know this is what you're going to do. Okay. I skipped a little. Oh, but you're eating them out of a dish. Oh, you made a dish. A dish is called sitting down. You're eating the nuts out of a dish. You never thought, oh, I'm going to walk around with. No. Then you have to make a new beracha when you walk outside, and because you're sitting in the
When you get out of the house, you brush off.
If you're eating out of a dish,
Wow.
no.
Let's eat over dish.
If you have it in your hand, you're like,
And after you say, okay, now we need to go. So now you take a hand.
once you make the new beracha, you say, you know what, I'm walking around. And then the beracha covers you for everything. 3 more, and then we're done.
You took a handful of nuts
Outside, you make a new beracha, and this time, it's going to be for the walk around.
What?
Yeah. Because
Wait. If I take a bunch of nuts out of the dish,
then you're good. Then wherever you go, that's if you take a bunch of
If I
nuts
take
like this,
one-
He started
if
saying
you
down
take one out of a dish, because you're sitting at grandma's house,
yeah, and
you take one out of a dish, you're sitting right next to grandma. That's what's called sitting at the table. That's not called walking. When you scoop a whole bunch, that means you're on the run. Okay.
Like 5 minutes. Like
no, but I'm sitting down with a bunch in my hand.
If you go,
Well,
in my opinion,
that's the idea.
once you grab a bunch, why are you grabbing a bunch? It means you're
So in
going.
case I'm going somewhere.
That's what I think.
But if you take one or two first.
If you take one and you eat sitting down, or you walk, no, then you're walking.
What if you're running a marathon and you have water?
Then you're running the marathon. First survive, number one.
And then every time you drink water, you
It's your dot. It's your dot.
Or if you're
Yeah.
hiking and eating
So the most,
Same thing. It's your dot. It's your knowledge.
that's the most important thing.
The most
Before you make
important
a
thing
beracha-
is your knowledge. What am I about to do? Most of these halachot are most people don't have knowledge. Oh, chocolate. I'm hungry. Who thinks what they're gonna do? Okay, 3 more guys, then we're done. 3 more, and we're done.
Can I make one for the whole year?
No.
I've got the.
We can. Mi shibirach asukaria or masti. Someone is having candies or gum, and in parentheses, sheyesh bo mitikut. We're talking about flavored gum, obviously. And you're going out, walking around, with sucking on candy in your mouth. You don't have to go make a new beracha, even if you walk a long
It's
way.
the same candy.
Yes. Not only that, what if it's different candy, what?
Maybe in different candies.
Not only that, even if you took a whole pocket full of candies in your pocket, M&M's,
Yes.
after I finish this one, I'm having the next one.
nuts. It's just like the nuts.
Then, אין צריך לברך שנית על הסוכריות, כל שבעת הברכה היה בדעתו לפתור את כל
So you
הסוכריות.
have a whole box of
Because you know
gum. You have a whole box
you're
of
going to
gum.
eat as
one
you
now,
walk.
I'm gonna eat one 2 hours later.
2 hours, I mean, that's
I
a
don't
long
know.
time, but like, I'm going to eat as I go. Then it's your dot, so you're good. 2 more. You know what? Let's skip this next one. We'll do this next one next time. Let's do one more. Bubble gum. Shiur flavored, yeah. Okay. No beracha halana. Let's- A gum? You eat it too slow. No. Okay, let's skip to the last one and we'll go back to Orahim next week.
How much swallow it maybe?
It's plastic. They literally put plastic in it. No, too slow. No beracha halana on sucking candies. Maybe taffy. No. Unless you eat it, have to eat it. Okay. Yes, that would happen. But it's too slow. Last one. Mi she'ochel perot. If you eat fruit or any other type of beracha, ve'ala lekoma sheniya. You go to the second floor of the house. Hanimsed betoch habayit. Ukshechozeh lemkomo. Now I go back to the first floor. I want to eat more fruit. Do I have to make a beracha? Because it's still one house. One house is one house. This is the halakha. So now,
So the one on the roof that we spoke about.
roof is different. Maybe rooftop. Rooftop
That's
is
the
different.
first one we spoke about, was on the roof.
Right. This is not
When it came
rooftop.
down,
This is not rooftop. This is within the house. Rooftop is another halakha. Attic is in the house. Rooftop is on the roof. Maybe some people hold it different. We have to see. What is the summary, guys? We learned these halakhot. Now we understand. Back to the Gemara. All this is just to get to the Gemara. The Gemara is saying again, whatever you consider are important food, number one, you have to bench in the place. And if you left on purpose, you got to come back. Number two, if you left and you went to another place and you want to eat more with no beracha. This is going to come back to our Gemara next week. So remember this because we have to go back to kiddush. Okay? So next week, we're going further in the Gemara back to kiddush. And next week, we're going to talk about what my father-in-law alluded to. What if you left the table, but you left some friends behind?
right.
That's next week. You left the table. Let's say you're at a wedding. We'll just sneak preview. You're at a wedding. And then mincha. You go to pay mincha. Outside. It's shul. No. When you come back, do you have to make a beracha? What if there's people at the table still? Does it matter? If you're alone or if you have people? All these halachot. Next week's halakha.
Practical thing.
Practical halakha
I
is.
think if I'm sitting there and I'm having, and I had my meal with bread, but then I'm sitting over there.
Kosher. Kosher.
The
Kosher.
idea of everybody, okay, move on.
No, it's the same room,
But
but
sometimes you can't see to the other side of the room.
maybe if I'll try to find some things that paste it in the next one.
So that's a,
Bottom line, maybe it's like a kovea, it's a humrah, but
you have
it's not halakha.
to rank where you sat.
Where you ate, and that's called the same place where we ate.
So let's say I'm at the gym and I'm drinking my water, right?
Yeah.
And after I tap out of the machine, I say, after that randomly a drink looks good, I want to get it. I have to say new breath on that drink.
So it depends on your knowledge. When you
I don't know, I
started,
didn't see it. I'm like, I didn't plan on
so if you didn't know that it was there and you just
No, I know
decided,
the vending machine is there.
right? But if you in your house, we have a stam da'at. I'm going to eat whatever I want.
Right.
When you're not in your house, you don't have that stam da'at.
Okay.
So if you really wasn't planning on it,
Well, that's not true.
he wasn't planning on it.
If I go to my friend's house and he brings me.
No. That's not his example. He's not being served. We're not talking about guest. When you're a guest, you have the dot. Whatever
Right.
they bring me, I'm eating. That's also stam
Right.
da'at.
I'm not.
He's at the gym. He only planned on having one, and then all of a sudden, oh, you know what? I'll give you another example. One
The
small
same
example.
thing?
If you're on a diet, this happens to me sometimes. I'm on a diet. I don't drink soda,
Mm.
and I'm like, you know what? It looks amazing. I'm gonna have.
Right.
I literally was planning on not having that soda. I mean, I don't care if I just made shiur call. I wasn't gonna have it.
Mm.
I changed my mind. I'm breaking my diet. I gotta make a beracha. It wasn't in my diet. My
So
opinion.
you make a new bracha.
It wasn't in my
I
don.
mean, first you're having water.
Yeah, because I'm like, and I'm like, I can't. Just give me some of it. It wasn't in my don. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Shu, amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hanan Omer, ועשה הקדוש ברוך הוא זכור